Hey there everyone, welcome to Clara's Collections. Today we're going to upcycle 4 frames and transform them into lovely little heart frame decor. It can be used for Valentine's Day or just for everyday decor. The largest frame that you see here in black I purchased from an estate sale several years ago. I was disappointed because it was hard plastic and had beautiful designs. But now I see many of my favorite YouTubers using plastic frames and turning them into beautiful decor. The other frames were given to me by my good neighbor, Mr. Don, from his late artist wife, Kiki. Beautiful, beautiful lady and beautiful items she would make. So you're definitely going to see more creations from Kiki's stash of frames and jewelry. Here I already painted the basic color of what I wanted my frames to be, but they're not done. And I'm also just kind of trying to figure out what the design will be. I needed to cut some additional backer board, an additional backer board for a couple of the frames. They were just either too thin or just weren't just right. So here I am. I just took a cereal box and cut it to fit. In the first frame, let's get started. I used plaster chalk paint by Waverly. I'm going to give it 2 coats. And while I was there, I went ahead and painted all the backer boards to prepare it for the decoupaging. Somewhere down the line, I deleted or lost my video on where I created the air dry clay molds, but these are air dry clay molds on the frame. So I glued them on and painted directly on them as they were glued. Here I applied white wax, and that's because I'm going to put 2 more layers of different colors and in order to bring out the details. That was antique wax that I applied, and I just put enough and just wiped off some of it with the baby wipe. Just wanted enough just to bring out, like I said, the antique. I'm sorry, not antique gold. This is pure gold metallic paint. Very pretty, very nice acrylic paint. So I'm just applying this on the air dry clay, and I will be wiping it off just a little bit. Just applied here on the little corners of the frame. The final is the clear wax by Waverly. I'm going to apply it front and back, and this is to do the final protection of all the paint that was applied. I've been anxious to use this gorgeous pink rose. This is a 2-ply napkin I purchased from Decoupage World, and I'm going to be using it on these two of the frames in this project. But here I am trying to find the best position of the roses to fit this backer board. And as you see, I had already painted it earlier in the video in the plaster. I'm using Mod Podge, and I'm doing it in small sections, and I'm going to spread it with this wrap to avoid the wrinkles. Using this costume or cosmetic jewelry to decorate my decor, and removing the extra back, this heart hat and the little holder on top. And I used these earrings that had these little leaves, and they look. I want them to appear like kind of like wings, so I think they look much like wings here. And then I touched them up with the pure gold metallic paint. They were just a little bit warm, but not too much, and this kind of brightened them up a little bit. And also the heart, touched it up with the this acrylic paint. I'm using E6000 and super glue. I found that the E6000 was not holding very well, or maybe not just holding fast enough for my impatient self. And with using both of them, they uh, the super glue helped attach much quicker and much stronger. Just applied it on the edges that I felt were going to be touching the this backboard. When I put this decorated backer board in the frame, it was a little loose, so I cut out the two extra backer boards to insert inside the frame to tighten it up. And here I just a little fastener or little holder. And here I'm just gluing using a little hot glue to hold the cardboard a little tighter. To cover the back and make it much more nicer, more professional, I'm going to cover the back with craft paper. So I'm using this two-sided tape on all the edges, all close to the edge around the frame. Okay, getting started on upcycle number 2. I'm going to be using this oval frame from Kiki Stash. I have pre-painted the frame with ink, chalk paint, and unfortunately on all of these projects I could not use the original glass because of the decor, decor that I put in front. And here I am decoupaging the napkin, one of my favorite blue baroque napkins. I removed that second ply, and I will be also sealing the top now with Mod Podge. This design, I'll be using a little bit of lace, a gold heart pendant, and some faux diamonds, of course. And we'll be gluing them with E6000 and super glue. I also found these little pretty faux diamonds with a slight pink color, which I think that added a little bit of color and pop to the design. I should have used some jewelry cleaner on these faux diamonds, but instead I used a little baby wipe to shine them up a little bit. And I'm trying out those dangling earring. I was trying to see if I should apply it to the side and changed my mind, as you'll see. And in the back of using the super glue in 6000 to hold right away. here I'm applying the super glue on just the small parts that I think is going to be touching this decoupage backer board. Just touched up with a pure gold on the heart also, and around the frame, just around the raised edges that this frame had. And if you see, I also rubbed it off or removed with the baby wipe. I didn't clearly paint in the lines, just kind of haphazardly to make it kind of look a little worn. You know, when things get worn, all the paint scrapes off, but with a little bit more classier look. After the pure gold acrylic dried, I am applying clear wax all around the front of the frame and just kind of gently removing some of it, removing the excess, and this will protect the paint job, the gold and the chalk paint that was applied. I'm cutting another backer board from a box, and so the design could sit tight within the frame. And I'm also applying the craft paper to again finish it and hopefully look professionally done. You cut the to get the right size. I ended up using the pencil, just scraping it around the edge because that little bagger border was a little too small for an example. So just using the pencil there to draw them in a line and cut it out closer. So I'm using the two-sided tape. I just had to cut it in pieces to fit around this oval frame. And I didn't videotape this, but I did glue a tiny hanger on the top of the frame after I applied the craft paper. And this way somebody could hang it or put it in the stand. Are we ready for upcycle number 3? Well, let's get ready. Going to be using this brooch from Kiki Stash. I removed the hinged pin and catch from the back with the wire cutters. In removing, I did break a little piece off, but no problem. I'm going to super glue it within the design, and it should not going to change the design. I had pre-painted my backer boards when I first started the project with plaster paint. So here I cut a little template, a heart template on paper, just folded it in half and just drew in the heart. And this will be used for a template to make a heart. And I'm using my little clay tools, and I rolled it out with the largest paintbrush I had. I need more tools for crafting tools, don't you think? I need to go shopping. So this worked out very well. I painted it painted the heart, and I did it right away with ballet slipper craft paint, and it's pretty, very pretty color. I'm applying Mod Podge in sections on this backer board to hopefully eliminate any wrinkles. I'm kind of pressing it in with this plastic wrap. As you see here, I'm doing the middle section, then I'll pull the napkin down, and this is with the one ply, my favorite roses. You know, again, we'll seal the top with Mod Podge. And now the heart, I'm using E6000 to glue it there in the center of the backer board. So pretty, look at that pink color. Now I'm going to glue on this little little net. It's kind of, I think it's wired, but this is from Kiki Stash. That was so pretty. Laying it there haphazardly. It's waving in the wind over the heart. And here's the brooch that I'm applying E6000 in super glue. There's a little broken piece. You can see the little broken part. No worries. When I put the missing part in. And so I had this little kind of lavender or purple colored bracelet what I thought would give it more bling. So I am applying, I use a lot of super glue to make sure it held in, those little stones held in well. So here's a little boo-boo that I made. I didn't realize the backer board that I put all the brooch and everything was a little small for the frame. So I cut out another with the cereal box, and the edge I decoupaged with the same napkin. And so it worked out perfectly. Looks kind of 3D-ish. So this frame, I think it's wood. However, it was a little soft, but beautiful, beautiful carvings on the top. It's painted with ocean chalk paint. And now applying white wax and wiping it off. And now I'm touching up with my finger the pure gold metallic just on the raised edges of the frame. And just touched it up with, or removed a little bit with the baby wipe. Isn't it beautiful? What do y'all think? So for the last, I'm applying a good coat of clear wax on the entire frame and just wiping off any excess. And I'll also do it on the back also to protect the acrylic paints that I've applied, and of course the chalk paint. So the backer board with the stand had fallen off the frame, so now I'm going to attach it with E6000, but first I'm going to add another cardboard square inside to make the core is nice and tight. And you do want to check this, make sure your stand is in the correct direction to match your decor in the front. So I'm adding E6000 here and a hot glue gun so that it could quickly hold. And the frame also was kind of not fitting tight as it was as I was waiting for it to glue. So I did put 2 boxes on top of the frame to make sure it was holding that stand tightly against the wood. So here, let's start on Upcycle 4. I'm painting this backer board with plaster chalk paint, and I don't know if I mentioned, but this will help the the napkin stand out more clearly, more brighter, because it will be a one ply napkin, and against the brown it will not show very, it'll be a little bit dull, but it'll work. But this will help it pop. So I'm using again my favorite baroque blue napkin. Remove that extra ply it had. I'm measuring so I can cut it to fit. So I'm using Mod Podge and I'm applying it in sections, and I will spread it out with this plastic. I will apply another coat of Mod on the top of the napkin to seal it in. So this is inspiration both from my daughter and Pinterest. I saw on Pinterest they used silk flowers for the heart, and this is going to be clay. So this mold I got it from Amazon. I'm using the three smallest roses that's on here. You can see there's three, and I'm using this template that I cut out earlier, and just arranging them on that heart, so that way I can kind of figure out how many and how many castings I need of this rose. So here I did figure out how many, slid it off the backer board, and I'm applying now the design with E6000, and using it right off the heart template helped a lot for for completing the design. And these little smaller roses are so cute for filling in the little cracks. So tiny and cute. You can very easily smudge, so use tweezers if you are inspired to do this project. I will make several more, but I want to do it in different colors. So if I painted these first with Snow White, but in hindsight, I wished I would have painted before gluing, because after getting feedback from my daughter, and it's a great idea, she said, paint it in black. The frame is going to be in black. It should be just beautiful, both being in black. So, but too late. The white also kind of helped seal the clay in also, but you see me here. And this is what I mean. I should have painted them before I glued. I was trying not to touch the decoupaged napkin. So just carefully, the first I used a smaller brush, and then to get in details, I used a detail brush, a smaller brush. I added these faux diamonds from this dangling earring, which I think it gave it a little bit more sparkle to this little black heart of mine, using Gorilla Glue. 6 or 9 diamonds. I just put it in different areas of this black heart. Now here's the largest frame in these projects, and look at this beautiful swirls, the design around the edge. this white wax really brings them out. And so I applied it around the edge and around the side and wiped off a little bit with the baby wipe. So now I will apply pure gold acrylic paint around the edges, and this is also going to be just little touch-ups here and there, not a complete coverage on all these swirls. And then I'm gonna just remove some with the baby wipe. I don't want it glaringly gold, just to make it look worn and old and antique, rustic. So around the edge, a little bit of the gold. And it really makes this frame pop, this gold touch. For the final coverage I'm using clear wax. And so this frame was a little deep, probably close to being 3/4 of an inch deep. So I did have to use 2 extra cardboard pieces I cut out from a box. And this had little tiny nails around the ends to hold in the frame, the decor. And so this was now very tightly situated, the design, the heart design. So I'm pushing it in with a little screwdriver in my finger. Using heavy craft paper, I measured and cut a square to fit the back. I'm using the double-sided tape to attach the craft paper to the back of the frame. And this will beautifully finish off the back of the frame. The wire was in good shape, so I'm not doing anything to it. I'm just going carefully under with this backer tape, two-sided tape right under it, and also the craft paper, just tucking it underneath. So I like to just remove the paper just a little bit at a time, so when I put in the paper, especially for larger pieces, I will just do it a little bit at a time so it won't stick as I'm laying down the paper. As you see me leave half of it still on, and then I remove it once I got the right piece attached. Here my finished upcycle project. It was lots of fun creating these and plan to make more fun jewelry designs. I hope you were inspired by these creations. Thank you for watching my video.